Hi everyone, and welcome to the Prym YouTube channel. And we are today's hosts,
Arne and Carlos.
and we are here to show you some of the products that Prym have and what you can potentially do with them. Today we have the Prym
Maxi.
The Prym Maxi knitting mill. And with this knitting mill, you can crank up projects like scarves and hats. But we have another idea for something that you can do.
We're gonna crank out some project bags.
Yep.
At least one project bag at the beginning, because we have some cotton yarn in the stash.
Yeah.
And this is a 50-gram ball, and it's enough for a project bag.
So how many balls? Do you need two or one?
I think it's good to have one extra in case you need some extra for the sewing and the finishing.
Okay,
but
so stand by.
We try to leave some of this yarn.
Okay.
Or we will show you later how it works.
Yeah, and this cotton yarn that we are working with, this is an Aran weight, so it's thicker than the DK weight that we usually love working with. This one will make about 17 stitches in 10 centimeters, and it's 100% cotton, and we really love working with this yarn and the knitting mill.
It slides very good
Yeah.
with the knitting mill.
So it's really, really lovely. So I think you're in for a treat here.
So let's show you how we do it.
So the first thing we need to do
First,
is...
we need to put the yarn on the hooks.
Oh.
And moose.
Yes, moose is what we say because our dog loves barking at moose. And maybe there's a moose outside.
Maybe.
Who knows? I mean, we live in Norway after all.
There's a dark blue needle there. That's where you start the rounds. And then you have this one for the tension. And you wind it this way.
Yeah.
Is that clockwise? I think it's called
That is counterclockwise.
counterclockwise. And there's a button on the side, so you can knit on the round, or you can go back and forth. We like to round.
We always like knitting on the round.
Yeah, especially for a project bag, because this size is very good for a
No,
project.
but you know, being Norwegian knitters, we knit everything
on the
in the
round.
round, always.
Always. Okay, so let's go to the dark needle.
There it was.
There it was. See? And then when you put the yarn on, you put the yarn inside the machine, you put it under the blue and you wind very slowly. Then you jump over the second, then you knit the third, and so this way you knit every other. So just put it on like this and go slowly. Because in the beginning it's really easy to lose a stitch if you go too quick.
Yeah. So slow is the key.
Slow in the beginning. And then you can crack up the tempo later.
Maybe you should put on some, you know, cool music, and then you can, you know, crank your handle as you follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
For some extra fun.
So let me just finish this round.
There you go.
And then we are back.
Super easy to actually put it on.
So now you have yarn on every other needle, and now you do the first round. Then you have to get the yarn to the blues, be sure that it's in there, and you will also put the yarn through this, like a yarn holder or what you call it, I'm not sure. And now just be sure that the yarn goes into the hook. Then you will have the ball on the floor.
That's easier, yeah.
And unwind it as you knit. Because if it tightens, it can be a problem. So be sure that the yarn is always unwinded like that. And by the way, Carlos, we need the string, so maybe you can wind up some I-cord while I do this.
That's true. The project bag is going to be a cute little bag, and it's going to be tied together with string. And to do that, I am going to be working the mini knitting mill, also by Prym. This is not what we're featuring today. Today we're featuring the Maxi, but there is a mini and there is a midi, you know, an in-between size. So you've got three sides. sizes. I'm going to be doing this probably off camera so that we get this done on time. Okay?
But we need the string, and I think this color looks good with
yeah, it's a nice contrast. This one is we're working this in DK yarn, again cotton.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll crank this up while you do the other
thinner
one.
yarn.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you go slowly the second round and be sure that you get all yarn on all the needles. So you see, we're almost around the second round, sorry. Or the first round if you don't count the cast on. And we're back to the blue needle. Unwind the yarn, and now you can knit. And you can be a little bit quicker now if you want to. But always remember to unwind the yarn from the floor. And off we go.
Off we go.
So I think we should just wind now and come back when we are almost finished to show you how we finish it off. And I thought maybe we can also show how we put in one more ball of yarn if you want to do, something longer, or if you run out of yarn. Okay, so you can speed up. And you don't have to see while we do this for the whole bag, so we'll be back when we are almost finished.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Right back. Oh, by the way, I forgot something. I think I got carried away because it's kind of fun. I forgot to put the yarn in the tension place.
Oh.
Because I was just holding the yarn like this, but you have to there's a tension thing here.
Yeah, it's quite important, isn't it?
Yeah, so the yarn should actually go into this hooks like that. So you go like this and over and under. And for the project bag and this cotton yarn, we don't go all the way like I do now, like this, because then it's very tight. So we take out the two last ones and we just leave the yarn there. And then that's the tension. So this is what I forgot all about. But it doesn't make a big difference because I was holding the yarn anyway, but we have to do it correctly. Now we can just wind up or crack up a project bag. Okay? We'll be back when we're almost finished.
See you soon.
No, I don't think I have forgot anything.
Wow, wow, Arne, that's awesome.
Look. But now now this is almost finished, 50 grams. And that's enough for the bag, but let's show you, I think we should show you how you add more yarn.
If you need it.
If you need more yarn. So let's come back to the beginning. Sorry, not to the beginning.
To the end.
To the end of the first ball of yarn. And then if you want to add more yarn, take a new ball, put that yarn in there with this one, and then you crank the handle and get these two yarns,
both of them in at the same time. That's very clever. Who taught you this?
I found it out in the instructions.
You see, that's why you should always read the instructions.
But I think that's a typical thing in Norway. We hardly never read instructions.
But you did.
I think we can find it out anyway.
But you did, so that's
there
great.
You go.
There you go.
So I have to put it back in the tension thing. So like that, and wind it up, and then you can knit
as much as you need.
As much as you need. There you go over where you, so this is now where you added more yarn. That's how we do it. But for us it's enough with one ball. So I'm going to take it out now, and then we do the finishing by hand.
Okay, so how do we take it out?
The yarn out.
Oh, and then you just crank without the yarn in.
Crank without yarn, and it falls off.
Oh wow!
Now I go the opposite way.
Clockwise.
I can probably go the other way. It doesn't matter. As long as there's no yarn, it fall off.
Let me get that out of the way.
There you go.
There you go.
And let's check now. How long is it?
That was a nice little measuring tape.
It's a gift from a friend from one of our knitting cruises. So this is about like 28 or 29
centimeters.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter, because now I'm going to take out the yarn that we added, that we don't need. And now we're going to make one, like the edge, we'll have the edge with holes.
Okay.
So we can put the ribbon you make to that hole, so you can close your bag. And to do that, we take out a few rounds. That was
so
one,
two,
maybe three is enough. And it's always nice to have let's do 4. It's always nice to have an extra ball of yarn in case you don't have enough. So the beginning is somewhere there. So let's do it from here. And now we're going to put these stitches on a circular. Where is my circular? My circular is over here. This is a 4 millimeter, because we found out that 4 millimeter was good for this one. And the length is 80 centimeter. That is a bit long, but it works.
I was going to say, you could probably do it with a smaller circular needle as well.
But this was what
You have a lot of pulling to do with this one.
Yeah. And then you pick the stitches up, or place them on the circular. You could probably use 4 needles as well, if you prefer that. Doesn't matter, as long as you get these stitches back on the circular. So it's a little bit long, so just pull the string out like this. And now you're gonna knit 2 together and yarn over. Knit 2 together.
That's very easy.
Yarn over. So this is how you make the holes. So see, you get quite big holes, so it fits the I-cord. Yarn over and 2 together. So just let me finish this round, and then we'll be back and show you the next round.
Yep.
You don't have to see me knit. Yarn over and 2 together for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Looking good.
Yeah. See, now we have done 2 together and yarn over for the whole round, and you end up with 2 knit stitches next to each other. But that's fine, because you have to work with the number that is on the knitting mill. Then you knit 1 round before you bind off loose. So just knit like this, 1 round, and then I can come back and show you the bind off, because the bind off has to be very loose, because if you tighten that too much, it won't be nice. So let me finish this one and show you the bind off. So now we have finished 1 round with 2 together and yarn over, and 1 round with just knit. So now you can just bind this off, and then you see this is quite loose, and the distance between the stitches is quite long, so you have to be very loose when you bind off. So then what we do is that we knit like this, we pull, the yarn, you knit one more and lift over, and now you need to pull this stitch so you make it long. And if it's too tight, you will soon figure out. This is something like you have to use your feeling.
Yeah, you feel it yourself, yes.
So bind off very loose, like this. And then when you have done that, you finish the bottom of the project bag. So just let me bind off this, and then I can show how we end the bind off. Now we have binded off. Is that the right?
Yeah.
So we have just a few more, and then you finish the top of the project bag. Like very loose. And the last one. And then you finish by going into the first stitch like this. Pull the yarn through. That, and then you put the last from the bind off over this one. And pull the yarn through.
And then cut it.
And then you cut it. You sew it in and cut it later. Right? So that's the top.
Mm-hmm.
So this one will now get the I-cord.
Yep, which is already made.
Yeah, and on the bottom, so it goes just like into every other, like the over and under, over and under. That's easy. And then on the bottom, you take out the cast on, because this is always a little bit messy.
Yeah.
Again, you use the circular, and you put all the stitches that is from the first round on to the circular, and you pull the yarn out like this. And for this one, you do take first the yarn from the cast on, and then you take one extra round, so you have enough for the bind off. Okay. You pull, so you find the stitch, and then you take it out. Pull the yarn out like this. And I work from the purl side. And we'll be back. So now we have taken out the yarn from the cast on and one round, and then all the stitches are back on the circular. So now you bind off loose as you did on the top. And when that is done, then I'll show you how we close the bottom of your project bag. So again, bind off loose. So now, Carlos, we have the bag.
The bag is
Almost.
done. And do you have the dimensions for the bag? The exact dimensions now that you've done it? Because, you know, people love getting all the information that they need so that it's easy for them to do.
As possible.
As flat as possible. We have got a bag that will measure 29 centimeters. And then we will just measure it up here on the top where it's thickest, or because widest. And it will be 29 by 19. So 29 centimeters length and 19 centimeters width.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now to finish it, you turn it inside out, and then we just do like a garter stitch. Now what's so Kitchener?
Yeah.
That's the English word. So you just sew it together. You go under the stitches in the bottom.
Looking good.
Pull it
This is like a super easy project. You know what I also thought you could do with that? You know, when it gets like really cold in winter and you're in the cabin and it's cold and you put those delicious hot water bottles in your bed, you know, those plastic bottles. Yeah, this could be, it could also work as a cover. You know, you get yourself a hot water bottle and then you can check the measurements of the bottle and you could do that for that. So that's another idea. Project
for
bags.
Christmas, you can do it in red and green.
Or it could be like a great gift bag if you, for example, make a pair of socks or a couple of pairs of socks and then you put them in one of these bags and then you give it away as a beautiful, thoughtful gift. And not only did you knit the socks by yourself,
and you know what
but you also made the wrapping.
Yeah, I mean, you know what else you can make?
What?
If you make it longer. You remember, like in our book, the Norwegian knit with the twist, fra Setesdal.
Yep.
The door, what you call that?
The draft stopper.
Draft stopper.
Yeah, which
is an easy thing to make.
Yeah.
You could just knit through a lot of scrap yarn and make a...
Yeah, it's like a very long pillow and then you fill it with wool and then you can put it on the floor against your door so that you don't get the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of those in England and in France. And that's where we got the idea. Yeah. Because, like in Norway, also, like if you live in an old apartment in the city, it can be
drafty. Yeah.
Drafty.
So Arne, I made the string for the bag. I've got it here in my hand, and I'm going to tell you guys as well more or less the length of this. I just played it by ear. But I'm going to measure this for you because I know how you all love your measurements. No, I mean, it is important, Arne. You know, if you do a project and you have measurements, people really want to know. So, so the length of this project string for this project bag is, drum roll.
I'm so excited. You know, by the time you measure that when I'm finishing the bag.
Okay, and it is 1 meter and 10 centimeters.
That is good.
Yep. That's a great... Oops.
If you want it longer, you can make it longer. So
yeah, no, but you don't need it longer than that. And then you can just tie a very beautiful knot, very decorative knot, and there you have it.
And in the tail... I'm gonna do the same on the top, but we can keep it for later. And now you have the bag. So it looks like this under. And now you put on that beautiful string of yours.
There you go.
So let's put that in and just show how beautiful it will be in the end. So you just go over and under in the holes like this. And we have a lot of this yarn, and I don't think we will use it for anything.
No, this is leftover yarn that we bought, I don't know, 125 years ago. It's been in our little stash room, which is not so little.
It's been in the family for a while.
Yeah, it's been in the family in a while. We did not know what to do with it. You know, it was one of those days we were in the yarn store and we went bananas. And yeah, sometimes that happens.
I think that happens.
I'm sure most people can relate to.
Most people? But we can always use a lot of project bags and we can make different strings, which could be very nice to have different colors on the string.
The excitement and suspense is killing.
Okay, so now let's see what happens. And you have your project bag. And then you just make a knot like this.
Oh, no. You need to make a nicer knot than that.
You need some project to put in the bag.
Yep, you do. But let's see.
We have more yarn. We can put the yarn in the bag. And the measure tape.
Okay.
And you do it so nicely.
Thank you. There's a little thread hanging out here that we'll need to cut. I'm going to sew it in
later.
But there you have it. Cute little project bag.
Put some things in there.
Put some things in there. And there you have a great...
Now you can fill your crafting bag
Yeah.
with project
You
bags.
can fill your bag with your heart's desire.
So this is how we make project bags with the Maxi Prym knitting
the
needle.
Maxi knitter by Prym. So we hope you have enjoyed this episode. We hope we've been able to inspire you and give you some ideas of what you can do with this machine. It's endless though. I mean, you could do a hat. You could work on a tube, like you could do this tube and then you could add holes for the front and make yourself a cool balaclava. You can do like a scarf. You can do there's loads of things you can do. Only the imagination will put the limitations. So we hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully Prym enjoyed it too, and they will invite us back someday.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you around either here or at our own channel at arnecarlos.com. So see you somewhere, someplace
in the world.
In the world.
Bye.
Bye.